Hey, happy Saturday. Welcome, everybody. We're going to get started here just in a couple of minutes. Thank you so much. New teaching today for all of you. Thanks, everybody who participated in the entrepreneur's journey with Think and Grow Rich. What a great study. I learn and I grow so much. You know, this book here has just been so powerful in my life. And so we've added the entire teaching to my YouTube channel. I hope you'll go over and watch it, and if you're enjoying it, subscribe and share and invite other people. It's something that I wanted to do and give to the world. I know some people have asked if they could buy a license to do that, and you can. There'll be a link to my website. You can buy a teaching license to a teaching I did on Think and Grow Rich. It was on our arrival points and our departure points, and it's filtered all through kind of this process of goal setting and goal achieving. It's a phenomenal program. So for those of you who are looking for that, you can do that. Let's go ahead and jump in. We've got people who are jumping in. So again, welcome. I wanted to think into what we would build on coming out of the entrepreneur's journey from Think and Grow Rich. I think we did about 10 or 12 weeks in that program, and I want to thank Dr. Paul Sheely for joining me. He came in and taught with me on the mind, on the subconscious mind, and intuition. And again, all of those are on YouTube. You know, TAGR was the start of my personal growth journey. I had never read a book. I had never been introduced to personal growth before, and Patrick Hayes really started me on this journey. It was 32 years of my life, I've been committed to studying, personal growth, why we do the things we do and why we do, some of the things that, we really don't want to do and what holds us back. And that has led me for the last, quarter of a century to study many different authors, many different modalities of thought. It's got me studying different courses that would lead me to examine different cultures and different beliefs, to be really open-minded to, what makes us tick? How do we tap into our infinite, fully resourced potential? And I've been leading people through mastermind groups, mentoring programs, through one-on-one private coaching, through certification programs. Because I found that one of the ways for me to grow was to share what I was growing with other people. And I found that many of you want to do that too. And so that was really how I got my start. And I've been blessed on my journey of personal growth, and I've worked hard to make the most of those blessings. I think I've been a good steward of those blessings. I've had the opportunity to again, travel all over the world. I think I've been to 46 different countries, speaking, teaching, training, mentoring, and coaching people. I've worked with just about every big name there was. So blessed to be able to have shared the stage with Zig Ziglar 3 times before he passed away, to spend time and work with Wayne Dyer and Les Brown and Brian Tracy and Dennis Waitley and Jack Canfield and Mark Victor Hansen, of course, John Maxwell. And during that time, I think I've worked at the highest level of the industry, on the business side as well. At one time, I think I've probably built the largest training and certification company in the world, certainly of its kind. And so I thought, what would be next for our time together on these Saturday mornings? And several years ago, I went into a studio and I recorded nearly 7 hours of teaching. Many times people will ask me, to teach about the 7 laws and where could they study them, and they're really not accumulated in any one body of study. Many of the laws and understanding the laws came from my study of Wallace D. Wattles, Dr. Thurman Fleet, Thomas Troward, and so I picked things up along the way and then put them together in a way that I could understand and then, applied in my life. And I have found that, you don't really understand something until you can share it with somebody else so that they can understand it to the degree that they could apply it in their lives and change, alter, or improve the results that they have. And so I sat down and I thought, okay, I'm going to teach the 7 laws. And then I thought, well, you know, a lot of people ask about these 6 intellectual faculties. How do we use these intellectual faculties? How do we develop intuition? How can we develop our reasoning faculty? What is the difference between inductive and deductive reasoning? And people would ask me, you know, the process of purpose, vision, and goals. And so I went into the studio and I laid down a really linear path for somebody who was serious about personal growth, that they could follow this course of study. And then I took all the different exercises that I did in my life, from all the different seminars that I had gone to, all the different workshops, all the different private mentoring and coaching that I had paid for over the years. And I took the very best of those exercises and I put them into the program. And when it was all done, I was very happy and proud of the program. But as I watched it, I realized nobody's going to watch this. It's just so much content. It's just hard to take in. And I believe in divine intervention. You know that I'm a person of faith. And I got an email from a young guy in Ireland who said that he had seen some of my other teachings and that he had a giftedness in the area of video editing and enhancements, and would like to work with me. So I said, you know what, I've got a project. Let me send you a video. So I sent him one syllabus off, of maybe 10 or 15 minutes of the video off. And a few days later, he came back and sent me a file. And I watched this file of this teaching, and I was just blown away. He had put background music that kind of captured the vibrational frequency. And you know that's important, right? That captured the vibrational frequency of what I was teaching. He had put in subtitles so that you could listen and see the words. So it connects for those people who are visual and auditory learners. And then he went and put in B-roll, video roll that supported the ideas that I was sharing. And you just feel it in a different way. And so it really touches somebody like me who's a kinetic learner to be connected visually, auditorily, and then being able to do the exercises in the book along with the program. And I called the program Fully Resourced, coming from the belief based on the writing of Thomas Troward. He wrote an essay called Completeness. And in that essay, he says that nothing new needs to be added to you, that we are fully resourced. That once we have an idea in our mind, we must believe that we are fully resourced. So we must recognize those resources within us if we're going to bring those resources forward and bring that dream forward. And so that was the name of the program. And when we launched it just as a study program, and it did very well. But soon after we released it, we started getting messages in from people saying that they wanted to ask questions and they wanted to share, what they had done during the exercise. They wanted me to listen into, what their goal statement was and to kind of calibrate it for them. And so we did an open call and we had hundreds of people who joined in that call, and it lasted like 3 hours. So we knew there was a need. And so we took what was a study program and turned it into a mentoring program, a fully resourced mentoring program, where we allow people to join me monthly for 3 hours and have direct access to me, to ask me questions about the program, to allow me maybe to teach a little bit deeper or go off on a tangent or down a rabbit hole a little bit more than I was able to do in just a video program. And to also share what I was working and what was at top of my thinking right now in my life, true kind of mentorship. And so I thought what I would do is I would take clips of this program from the beginning all the way through. So, we may be looking at these clips for the next, remember, this is like 7 hours. So we're going to look at 4 or 5, maybe a 10-minute clip each Saturday. And I'm going to talk about what exercises you can do around the clip. And I'm also going to share with you, maybe some teaching around the clip and the context. Now, I'm not going to be able to play the whole program, but I'm going to play some of the highlights. And if at any time you'd like to enroll in the program, you'd like to learn about it, you owe it to yourself to at least talk to somebody on my team about how you can be enrolled in the Fully Resourced Mentoring Program. In the comments, there's a link where you can just put in your name and your phone number and talk to one of the people who are on my team and let them share with you the program. But this will give you an opportunity to at least see it. Now, this particular clip is about 4 minutes long. And as you watch this clip, you're probably going to want to take notes. And as you do, I want you to think about what you're thinking about. Don't worry about trying to write down, what I say, or don't worry about what images you see. What's most important to you, and really most important to me, is what you think about your life, about the resources within you, about your potential as a result of what you see in this quick 4-minute clip. So go ahead and watch this 4-minute clip, and when you come back, I'm going to do a little bit of teaching. Enjoy.
Many times when a person begins a new program or endeavors to change their life, they look at the facts of their life. They begin to kind of take inventory of where they are and the conditions and circumstances of their life. Because these facts are real. And we've been taught and programmed to believe that we have to be realistic. How are you going to do that? Where are you going to get the money? When will you have the time to do this or do that? What qualifies you to do that? Who do you think you are? And so we invest a lot of our time and our emotional energy in looking at the facts of our life. How much money do we have in the bank? That's a fact. How much time can we really commit and dedicate to this new process of change? That's a fact. What are the real experiences that we have in life to bring forward as we try to create a new life? What are those life experiences? Those are facts. What qualifications and past successes do we have that make us believe that we can be, do, or have this new life? What connections do we have? Do we really have the right people in our life to get us from where we are to where it is that we want to go? We then make agreement with these facts, never realizing that these facts are just that. They're facts. They are not our truth. The facts of your life are not a reflection of your highest truth. They are at best a reflection of your past programming and conditioning, a result of your past. We were never taught in the facts of our life that our facts can change and that, more importantly, we can change them. That is perhaps the biggest difference between facts and truth. Facts change, but your truth, the truth of who and whose you are, never changes. The truth of your infinite potential never changes. The truth of God's promise that you have been given dominion over all things never changes. Do you think having dominion over all things means everything but your results? See, I don't. And after you go through this process that I'm about to guide you through, you won't ever again make an agreement with any limitation that the facts of your life have created. One of the most powerful truths that I've learned is that the truth is not always in the appearance of things. The truth is not always in the appearance of things. What does this mean? Well, the facts of your life may appear as you not having enough money, but your truth is that you affect your own economy. You can at any moment in time change the trajectory of your financial life and begin to earn more money. Now, that may be hard for you to believe right now, so believe in my belief. I went from being a high school dropout, cleaning toilets late at night as a janitor, to earning millions of dollars. See, the truth was, I had the potential in me to earn the millions long before the millions showed up in my life and in my bank account. The opportunities, the people, the connections, the time, the money were all there the entire time. What I lacked really was the awareness of them and the awareness of my potential because I was so attached to the limiting facts of my life. And I'm telling you right now, my truth, your truth, is not in what it appears in your life right now. And that is really good news for you.
So whenever we're growing, we certainly want to know where we're going, right? I mean, that's our dream. That's what we call the mental model of perfection. Think about it. In our mind, we're looking at our life right now, and we're either being pulled by a longing to be, do, or have more, or we're being pushed by discontent because we don't want to stay here anymore. And so we define this mental model of perfection. To the degree that we can develop our intuition and our imagination, these are two of the intellectual faculties, and there's a way that we want to use them properly, because most people use their imagination in the wrong way. I mean, one obvious way is they imagine all the things that could go wrong, right? But the mental model of perfection is when we think about what it is that we want, and we create this idea or this image of what that really is. And over time, we stay with that image. We see that image as a living, breathing idea, as a concept. This was the work of Dr. Thurman Fleet. He called it concept therapy. See, we have concepts in our minds of limitations, right? We can have concepts of all the reasons why we can't do that. And we want to do therapy on that concept. We also want to do therapy on this new mental model of perfection. This image that we hold, we see it as a living, breathing document. And over time, we kind of tune in, we calibrate to its frequency. We make it clearer and clearer so that we can really see it and focus on it. And what we have to do is we have to look at, when we have that idea, what most people do is they abort their dream. As soon as they begin to build this model of perfection, they begin to look at all that's going on in their life, the facts of their life. They look at their education. They look at their money. They look at relationships. They take inventory whether they have the skill, the talent, or the ability. They ask themselves, do I have the ability to sell my services? Can I stand in front of an audience and speak? Can I market myself? Do I have the time to bring this forward? Do I have the resources of creativity, time management, discipline, imagination? See, all of these we have facts of in our life. And there's people in our life that hold those facts in place, aren't there? And so we want to ask ourselves, we're kind of taking inventory, where do I want to go? And where am I right now? What's showing up in my life? What are the competing commitments between the two? And who am I allowing to speak into my life? Who am I kind of renting space from? Who do you share your hopes, your dreams, your visions with, your desires with? And ask yourself, are these people good stewards of that dream? Are the people you surround yourself with going to be good partners in belief for this new idea? Because remember, you have a clear picture of what your mental model of perfection is, but do they see it? Can they feel it? Can they get excited for you? See, they've created what they believe to be an image of who you are. And they're invested in kind of holding that image true to themselves. So why would you want to be sharing your dream with people who don't understand what that dream is, have no connection to it, and actually have invested and have attached themselves to an image of you that's incomplete of that image? Why would we go and hire somebody to help us bring this forward when they actually haven't done what it is that you want to do in your own life? Remember, in Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill said that one of the number one causes of fear is that we rely on the opinions of other people, and he said opinions of other people are the cheapest commodities. And so we go to people and ask them, what do they think of this mental model? And chances are they don't even think. They don't really think creatively. Most people can't think beyond the facts of their life. And we end up asking people who haven't really produced what we want. Well, maybe you want to write a book, and I see people who go to a weekend seminar to learn how to write a book, and they've never sold 1,000 copies of their own book, but they're going to get rich teaching you how to write a book. Or we see people who are going to teach people on how to be a speaker and how to communicate, and yet they've never been on a speaker circuit. They've never been paid professionally. They've never gone in and done a corporate gig or held a public seminar where people paid to see them speak. But we do this all the time. And so I want you to ask yourself, whose opinion am I relying on? Whose opinion is helping hold these facts in my life? And then I think we want to look at this idea of truth. I say there in the video that truth is not in the appearance of things. Is that there is a difference between facts and truth, right? That facts can change. And so I'd like you to think about this word truth, and more importantly, your truth. Because truth binds us to our beliefs. Truth binds us to our beliefs. Truth, if we really think about it, truth should be the aim of our beliefs. And the problem that I faced, and I think most people face, is that it's very possible for us to believe something that is not true. We can actually believe a lie about our own potential. I believed for, my goodness, the first 25 years of my life, I held a belief that I was dumb and stupid. And I accepted that belief not only as truth, but as my truth. And the thing that fortified my belief and turned this into a truth is that I would look at the facts. I mean, there was very real evidence. I had test scores that I had failed. And so, however, if anyone kind of would stop and look beyond the appearance of things, in other words, if any one of my teachers or guidance counselors would have looked at, okay, yes, Paul failed at math. Yes, Paul failed at English. Yes, Paul failed at science. Yes, Paul failed at social studies. Yes, Paul's not getting this academic thing, but let's look at who this kid is. This kid's up every morning, at 5 o'clock in the morning, delivering newspapers in the morning. He's delivering newspapers after school. He goes on the weekend and sells, light bulbs door to door. He has a fruit and nut and candy store down on the Strip District in Pittsburgh. He is a mid-rank. He's a green belt in karate. And this is back when you couldn't just buy yourself a black belt, where you were in karate for 5 or 6 years to get a green belt. Now you become a black belt in 2 years. So maybe, just maybe, this kid isn't dumb and stupid. Maybe we're teaching him the wrong way. Maybe, see, I don't know what the facts are of your life right now. And I don't know what evidence you're pointing to allow those facts to fortify your belief that maybe you've accepted as truth. But I do know that in many areas of your life, that you've reached beyond and performed beyond what the facts could say. That you are much more resourced than what the facts of your life say you're capable of doing. That you have much more potential. See, while I was failing math class when I was in 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th grade before I dropped out, I still had the potential to be, do, and have all that I have right now. That potential was in me. It was just buried. And nobody even went to look for it because all they could see was the evidence of failure. And I have no doubt, I have no doubt that if you haven't committed yourself to a process of exploring the resources within you, that you're going to find it really hard to find them in you too. I have no doubt that if you don't have somebody who can speak truth into your life about you on a regular basis, I have no doubt that until you have somebody who will challenge the facts of your life and challenge the limitations that they represent towards you truly living your truth, that it's going to be very difficult for you to find them on your own. Potential is one of those things that we don't see in ourselves. As a matter of fact, for most of us, we've been programmed not to see it. We've been told that if we dare claim our giftedness, that we're somehow arrogant. It's not arrogant, it's awareness. If you're good at something, it's not, and claiming that you're good at it and charging what you're worth for it, that's not arrogance, that's awareness. But we don't go digging for that evidence in our own life. We need somebody. I had Patrick Hayes, somebody to interrupt that pattern, somebody to see beyond the appearance of things, somebody who could see beyond the facts of our life. You know, most people settle for a wage or an income bracket by the time that they're age 40 that is pitifully lower than what they're capable of. I see, and when people come to me and I begin to mentor them, one of the very first questions I ask is, what's the most amount of money they've earned? And I'm speaking to a person who I can see their potential, and they tell me that they've earned, you know, they're making $75,000 or $85,000 a year. And I'm thinking, why aren't they doing that every month? And if I even suggest that they could do it every month, they immediately begin to reject the idea. And one of the ways that they reject the idea is they begin to give me all the evidence of the reasons why they can't do it. Most people have developed their settle for muscle rather than their possibility muscle. That is just so true. We have developed the language patterns, the neuro-linguistic programming, the neuro-associative conditioning, the neural pathways to settle for less than what we're worth. Attachment, I wrote this down. Attachment by definition is something that is attached to something to perform a particular function. That's what an attachment is. So you have something and then you have this attachment, and the purpose of the attachment is to perform some function. And when we have an attachment to our limitation, what's the function of that limitation? What would be the purpose? Why would we ever create an attachment to a belief that doesn't serve us? Why would we ever create an attachment and connect an attachment to our lives to serve a function that doesn't serve us? And what function could it possibly serve? Well, I'll tell you what it does. It serves to keep us in our tiny little box. Its function is to safeguard us from taking risks. That's the function of us attaching ourselves to limitation. That's the function of the attachment that we make when we settle for things, is that it's better safe than sorry. Keep us safe. When in fact, risk can only exist. Risk can only exist when we lack the awareness of our resources to overcome the problem or challenges we have. Think about it. You don't look at something as risky if you believe that you can achieve it. You don't look at something as risky if you believe that you have the skill, the talent, the ability, or the resources to do it. When somebody comes to me to start a business, I'm never nervous about starting a business. I'm not scared to start a business. Now, it may not be a good idea, and I'm not going to say yes to it, but if it's a good idea, I'm never scared to do it. I'm not afraid to start it. Why? Because I've built 5 multi-million-dollar companies. I've been in business, my goodness, since the time I was, 6 or 7 years old, I think. So I'm very comfortable with the risks of financial loss or gain in business. I don't even view it as a risk. Why? Because I believe I'm resourced. Other people couldn't sleep at night. Now, there's other things that I could do in my life that I'd be very scared of. I mean, I could never climb up a ladder. I'm afraid of heights. I didn't make a good roofer. But why? Why am I afraid? Well, because I don't believe I have the resources. I don't believe that I have the skill and the talent and the ability and the balance and all that's necessary for me to go and do what those other people are doing up in those high things. I'll go to a ropes course. As a matter of fact, in my Turning Point retreat, we spend a day on a ropes course, and I'm always in the Chicken Little group. I never go up to the top of the telephone pole and do the leap of faith. Why? Because I don't have faith. I lack the awareness of the resources within me to do that. Now, the truth is I also lack the desire. You know, I don't understand why people would jump out of a perfectly good airplane, parachute or not. I did it one time. You know, took a girl on a first date. So, love makes you do things when you're young. I'd never do it again. But we become attached to our limitation, and therefore when we think of our mental model of perfection and we see all that has to change in our life, and we look at the facts of our life, the things that maybe haven't gone so well, and we think, I could never do that. So then we define that as risky. And so our attachment to the limitation belief is purposed to keep us safe from failing, from making a mistake. What will people think of you? Remember the opinions of other people. And unless someone serves as an awakener for us, for me it was Patrick Hayes. Unless somebody can come in and speak into your life, and I hope that I'm doing this for you, and I hope that this community is doing this for you. Unless somebody does this, then we become attached to the idioms and linguistic metaphors of our childhood. And all the programming, better safe than sorry. I made a list of it. Better safe than sorry. A bird in the hand is better than two in the bush. Settle for the one. Don't go risking for two because, you've got the one. Just settle for the one. You can't be too careful. Don't hold your breath. Don't count your chickens before they've hatched. Don't have faith. Don't have hope. Right? Mark my words. Right? Mark my words. Ever have somebody tell you that? Well, mark my words. Like, that's not going to work out. Mark my words. Like, you've been warned. You'll never be able to do that. Mark my words. You better know what you're going to do, or you better know where you're going. How about this one? There'll be hell to pay. There'll be hell to pay. Like, you do that, well, there's going to be hell to pay. What does that even mean? Or that will teach you to do that again. See, you've been burned? Don't ever do it again. I was embezzled. When I was 27 years old, I'd started a cleaning company. I was 22, so when I was 27 years old, one morning, a pounding on the door, I looked at the people, and there's 3 agents in bulletproof vests that said Treasury Department. That's the that's the militarized portion of the IRS coming to my house to serve a search warrant. They took all my computers because my account had been embezzled from me. Now, you would think that you would never trust anybody again in business. You'll never do that again. How about this one? Better the devil you know than the devil you don't. In other words, don't try to grow. Don't take a risk in trying to find a new vendor. Don't try a risk trying, just settle. Just settle. Look before you leap. It's very dangerous. I mean, this list can go on and on and on. And any one of these would give you pause before you would ever step out to express your God-given potential. And as I went through this list, better safe than sorry, bird in the hand is better than two in the bush, you can't be too careful, don't hold your breath, don't count your chickens before they hatch. How many of these do you know? Mark my words, you better know what you're doing, you better know where you're going, there'll be hell to pay, that'll teach you to do that again, better the devil you know than the devil you don't, look before you leap. I mean, how many of those do you know? And those are just like, it's kind of like elevator music in your mind. It's just a background that sets the atmosphere, right? We don't even know, but these are so powerfully charged. And chances are whoever said these to us was in a dominant position over us. And chances are when they were saying these things to us, we were probably vulnerable. We were probably unsure what the hell we were doing. We probably weren't fortified in our faith. We were probably in dream mode. We were probably in hope mode, wish mode, fantasy mode. And then somebody who we respect, or somebody who has maybe dominance or authority in our relation, comes up and says, hey, you can't be too careful. Don't hold your breath for that to happen. Hey, better the devil you know than the devil you don't. Look, Paul, look, you got a job right now. You're making $7, $8, $10 an hour. Now, better the bird, better the devil you know than the devil you don't. Be happy with the bird you have rather than go searching for two in the bush. Think about how this happens. See, your truth, the truth about who and whose you are, the truth about your potential is not in the appearance of things as they are right now. This is not as good as it gets for you, my friend. This is not as good as it gets for you. It gets better for you in your life. And so as we spend time together on these Saturdays, I'm going to encourage you. I'm going to call you forward into your potential. I'm going to challenge you. I want to help you break free from these attachments. I want want to help you see them in the first place. You can't fix that which you don't know. I want to help guide you so that you can begin to discover your potential. Now, look, you have to be willing and you have to be committed in this process. There's no doubt about it. You've got to be willing, you've got to be committed. And so I want to encourage you. Go back. Watch this lesson again. Watch this 4-minute clip. And think about, what is your mental model of perfection? What do you really want? What are the facts of your life that say you can't have that? Who are you allowing to speak into your life? What are the idioms and linguistic metaphors that hold you back? What risks do you perceive? What's the foundation of those risks? What do you know to be your truth? Here's what I know, is that you are truly fully resourced. See, all we're looking for right now is for you to have just one little light of possibility. I just want to create one little gap in your disbelief. I just want to create one crack in the foundation that holds you back from being, doing, having all that you could be, or even reaching for, dreaming even. And so I hope that you'll do these exercises. I hope that you'll take the time to watch this clip again and go back and take one of these. This is one of the most powerful things you can have in the world. It's a pen. And take a couple of pieces of paper and write this out. I love how Joseph McClendon says, he says, what we write, we invite. That's so true. The power of what you're going through right now is going to be based on your willingness to do the work. And I'm so committed that I'm giving this away. Now, look, it's going to take a long time for us to go through this whole program. We're talking right now, I've been talking now for 23 minutes about a 4-minute clip that's part of a 6 or 7 hour program. So if you want immediate access and you'd like to watch the full program and have all the workbook and have all the exercises and have me mentor you through that program, you owe it to yourself to click on the link below and learn about this program. See, I believe that if you have been sourced with an idea, that source is the source of all sources. That if you've been sourced with the idea, then you've been resourced with the potential to bring it forward. Now, this is not pixie dust and unicorns. It doesn't mean that you're not going to fail. It doesn't mean that you're not going to have to work hard. It doesn't mean that there isn't a sacrifice. It doesn't mean that everything is going to be peaches and cream. But it does mean that you have it in you. And I just bet if you're watching me right now, that you're one of the very few people who are willing to go after it, to go to the casino of life and bet on yourself. Hold your image. Thanks for joining.